Hey everyone, welcome back. Coming back with some gameplay finally, now that the Fabius Maximus patch has actually been released and we're not in the beta. I'm going to be going through the normal steps here, so tell you a little bit about my setup. We're doing 8 random AI on a large map. I have New World turned off, 2 continents, 40% land percentage, and I haven't monkeyed with any of these other settings at all, so everything's pretty standard. The whole point of the game really is to go and see how the changes to the game feel and all that kind of stuff. I did play in the beta version, so I have a pretty good idea of how I think the changes are going to play. Obviously, the stability change in the beta was unintended, so it wasn't implemented in the live version, which means it may feel a little bit different. But the point of this play isn't really to optimize my strategy to the fullest extent. I'm trying to see how some different playstyles might feel and really get a sense of the game. So perhaps I might not do as well as I normally do. We'll find out, but I'll see you once we're loaded in. All right, so here we are. And right off the gate, we can see we have Sage and Silk. Silk is very good, obviously, and we have horses. So Sage, not Silk. Sage gives +3 food on main plazas and +3 food on administrative centers. I actually think it's a pretty reasonably good luxury in the early game. Silk, of course, gives that +2 industry on Maker's Quarters, which is just crazy, but not quite as potent as it was because you can't spam as much as you could before with the industry cost scaling. So let's see. So south is going to be cold. We're close to the south, but we kind of have to go that way. Okay, so that food will be 15 because it's on a river, so we'll go there first. Now, there have been some changes to the Neolithic era, specifically regarding the major ones, specifically regarding the mammoth's combat strength, as well as how much food layers and sanctuaries provide. I don't want to go down this way because it's just going to be terrible terrain down there with a bunch of snow that I'm not interested in. So Mammoth combat strength has increased, which makes it a lot harder to kill mammoths with a solo tribe, right? You typically need 2 now in order to do it. So it's made growth a lot slower in the early game. The same goes for the change to sanctuaries. I'm going to grab the new hunting party here. I'm a little bit slow on the draw, but the arrows do just feel slower in general now. But the change to sanctuaries, they only provide 5 food. Oh, nice. That's amazing. And that has also considerably slowed down the pace of the game. Okay, I'm going to head this way with this guy. So something to consider now. Obviously, changes to district scaling have affected quite a few things in the game. One thing that I think it's really affected, though, is that you typically don't want your cities to have a lot of luxuries or strategics in them. You want them to be in outlying outposts. And the reason for that is that those things are going to affect the cost of all your other districts, even though they're relatively cheap to build themselves. So the more extractors that you have, the more expensive your basic and emblematic districts are going to be. So what this means is you're better off building a city in like a territory like this because you're not going to scale up your costs quite as much compared to this territory. The reason I'm going to do it here, though, is A, this is a much better city settle location than these other areas, but B, because I have a natural wonder here, this is going to give me some extra influence, stability, and money, which is really, really good to have in the early game. So I'm going to go ahead and found a city there, and we'll probably, we'll definitely need to attach this territory here. So we'll go ahead and try to claim that as early as possible. Also have a neighbor down in that direction, which is a very close spawn given the map settings I'm using, but we'll deal with it. Don't know who I want to play yet. I think it's more important to explore this way. We just need to get an idea of where opponents might be, secure our front line against the blue player here. Maybe we can find their outpost and manage to pillage it. It would be really nice to secure that die as well. Nothing? No food? That is very unfortunate. Well, we'll need another outpost. Probably right there is good. They're going to be very close outposts, which makes them easier to connect to each other with walls, which will also make my city much easier to defend. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Plenty close. This is a great event to get. It used to give extra combat strength on all of your units for the rest of the game, which was totally broken. But now I get to trade -2 food for a permanent plus 25 experience, which gives all my units the first level of veterancy, which is +1 combat strength, and that applies for the rest of the game. So I am going to take that. If I manage to get like the Mycenaeans, that could be even better. That's pretty unlikely at this point, but we'll see. Really need to get at least an Aristar here so I can go up at some point. No, that's really unfortunate. Terrain is my worst enemy at the moment. It's very hard to navigate over some of this. There are a lot of like cliffs and that sort of stuff that are blocking me. So there's a lot of silk over here, so I definitely want to expand in that direction. I'm going to go for the astronomy legacy trait. I've found that science is the hardest output to get for a fair portion of the game. So having even just a little bit of extra science at the start, I find is more important than the food and industry in most situations. There are some situations where I'll take the other ones. Like if I'm playing the Babylonians, I actually like the food per pop. Ooh, all the options are still available. This could be a good Nubia game, honestly. Like, I have 2 decent spots for the Moreau pyramids. There are quite a few luxuries around. Especially if I can, like, secure this territory as well. That would be wonderful to get access to some dye. Yeah, I haven't played Nubia yet on any of my episodes, I don't think. And I really do like the Nubians. They're a lot of fun to play. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for Nubia. I don't want to keep wasting my time here. The terrain is not very favorable for me. I don't see a clear way to get more scouts, so I'm just going to go ahead and go up. Alright. So we could go for Moreau pyramids first. I don't think that is going to be the strategy. I'm going to go for pottery workshop first because we want to secure territories that have vital luxury resources in them. Now you can also see that there's been an update to the art, so all the different cultures have unique art now, which is nice. I have found it makes it a little bit harder to read things sometimes, but that's something I'll get used to as I play more of the game. I'm just used to the normal arts. Oh, there's another wonder over here. Very interesting. Well, we'll see if... Okay, so I am very close to a neighbor, so I am going to go for carpentry first, so I have access to my Tossetti. And then I'm going to go into calendar, because as the Nubians, I want to get access to these luxuries as soon as possible. Which is also why I am prioritizing the pottery workshop over anything else. They have high ground here. I'm going to retreat. How did it? They have 14. Oh, they got a ferocious event. That's interesting. Alright, so strategy... I'm not really in a position to bully these guys. I didn't get enough food at the start to get a bunch of scouts. I am going to try my best with the 2 that I have, but it's pretty unlikely I'm able to make super effective use of that. Let's see. Let me reconsider that pyramid spot. Because I could get them both adjacent to each other. But that only gives me... Like, I get an extra 6 money from doing that at the cost of production. I think I'd rather have the production. So I'm going to keep that there. I do like to re-examine and make sure my decisions make sense when I look at that kind of stuff. Okay. Just get a good idea of what this territory looks like. Okay. Definitely want to get these tiles over here, particularly since this is another wonder. I could get some extra influence there. And having access to silk is, it can be a game changer, really. Okay. And that's why I moved up to this area right here. I have the high ground. He has no other way to attack me, so I'm just going to stand here with my extra combat strength from high ground and let his scouts run into me. I think I need to attack if I want to kill them. Okay. That's one scout dead. And the Mycenaeans. Okay. So we are going to be in for a bit of a struggle this game against the Mycenaeans. Okay. So, priorities. Probably to claim this territory, honestly, I'm going to need to be able to heal my units that are on the front line against the Mycenaeans. That's going to be very important. They will go very aggressive against me. See what his things are. +1 influence. Okay, he has reduced industry cost, and that's going to stack with the Mycenaeans' reduced industry cost. Okay. So that means they're going to be able to produce a lot of units very quickly, so I need to be aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and attach this, even though I'd prefer to buy out extractors with influence. That's not going to happen. Let's see, actually, +8 and 15 gold. That's way more gold than the other one's going to provide, so I'm going to prioritize that one first. And they want to trade luxuries? No. It is going to be total war until the extermination of one of the two of us. I don't want to give him any advantages. The thing is that the AI in the early game get more benefits from luxuries than the player does, because they have percent modifiers to their outputs. So if they get, say, 5 industry from dye, that's also being modified by the output that they're getting to industry. The extra output. So that's why I typically don't like to trade with them at the start. The coffee is not important for me because I don't use farmers, but that incense is. So I will want to develop that at some point. Okay. Probably go for city defense. I'm going to need warriors as well. I can use my affinity thing here. I want to wait, though. So I could, build an extractor on one of these, but it'll increase my industry cost on the Moreau Pyramid, so I don't want to do it quite yet. It's not that important. If it were like a dye or something, I would probably do it, but it's not. 10-14 on high ground. Yeah. I don't think I really have a compelling reason to build that somewhere else. Really, the most important thing about this outpost is that it's defensible. I am considering disbanding this guy. I think I need to do that. Yep. Okay. Get another guy on industry here, because I'm going to need to start building Tassetti basically after I finish this Moreau Pyramid. Oh, no, that is my own thing. Do not want to pillage that. Okay. And actually, I really like porcelain for the Nubians. I've found it quite it can change the game quite a bit for you, actually, because you are a gold-focused culture. You get some extra benefits from getting that gold. Like, I get a ton from the luxury, and then I get extra on my cities. I don't know. I just like porcelain with the Nubians. It's nice to have. Okay, next up. I have horses, right? It's over there. I do need food on rivers. I'm going to pick up irrigation. Go ahead and buy the Moreau pyramids, just to finish that up a little early. I really wish he would not stand there. It's fine. If he wants to generate grievances against me, I am totally okay with that. And then we are going to be looking to get some more outposts down in this area of the continent. It's going to be a little while before I have access to my... I have to keep him on food for a turn. It's going to be a little bit before I have access to my cultural civics, though, which is really a shame because those are pretty important at this point in the game. Specifically the one that gives extra influence on city center, and the one that decreases the cost of outposts, but I need my population for units right now. Okay, we'll wait one turn to disband him, I think. Or 2 turns, maybe? Really need to be able to strike this guy before he gets a large number of Promachoi online. And we do need a front line of warriors, despite the fact that Tasseti are really quite good. Already 6 population in my scene. And one last disband on the scout. You know, I need the population more than I need outposts right now. It's really about knocking this guy out of the fight as quickly as I can. So let's get this porcelain online with influence. Let's decently good boost to my gold here. Could also get this incense, and I think I'm going to do that. And I think Maker's Quarters are likely next on the agenda here. Yeah, I don't think I get enough food from those to be worth it. So, whoops. Maker's Quarter right there looks good to me. Okay, there we go. Full army. And Scout Riders. Okay, that's not... Scout Riders are really annoying. 20 combat strength Scout Riders. Because they ignore zone of control. So they are a pain in the ass to deal with, don't get me wrong. But they're not as bad as dealing with Promachoi. Okay, gonna go ahead and just buy out that Maker's Quarter. Want to use my gold as fast as possible. Go ahead and work on another unit as well. I'm gonna send the Tasseti out over here to plop down outposts, and then it's like a real combat unit I can use rather than a scout. I have found the change to production costs has really favored building more units now. Let's see if he comes to attack me. Come on, you can do it. There we go. That's what I like to see. So, set up like this. The scouts will likely try to flank around, but we will see. Okay. Just abuse the dumb AI as much as possible. Sounds good to me. And they can only attack us through this one territory, which is why I set up there. Doesn't look like the scouts are going to go around, which is bizarre. But it means I can use both of the warriors over here. I'll go ahead and take this guy out of the fight. It's just so nothing funky goes on. Okay. That's fine. So what I can do, because I have these warriors back here, is I can move through zone of control to get up onto the high ground. Go ahead and bonk those riders right there. Make sure I defend the flag so that I don't lose in this round. And then... oh, right, I was defending. But, yeah. Still good to make sure you are on your flag in the last round. Okay, what's next here? I'm go on expert policy. Gonna prioritize science, because I do need to get down the tech tree. I don't want to lose food. At some point, I'll probably have to attach this territory to the city as well. But not yet. Is it worth building coffee stuff? I don't think so. I think I'd go for a lumber yard. I do have a bit of lumber here. I'm not really exploiting that much, so let's shelve that idea. I lose one food here, but it does open up a fair bit of production there. How am I doing here? Okay, I'm well on my way to my merchant stars, so I'm not concerned about that. I'm going to go for another maker's quarter over here. Really want to keep up on industry, especially now that it just gets more and more expensive to build things. Okay, go ahead and knock these scout riders out. And we are going to retreat a bit. And one nice thing about having money is that it's very versatile because I can heal stuff with it. So this is like the perfect city to attack because... oh, they're making me defend. Because I can do the exact same thing I just did, where I just defend this one choke point. Right? Like they have no remedy to this. They have to blast through my units just to get to my archers, which makes Tassetti extremely effective in these sort of situations. Let's move him off the river so he doesn't have that combat strength penalty. And then, because I have exceptional accuracy, I can just roll these guys over. Let's see. We'll kill the scouts. So as you can see, again, they just have this one route to attack. So really when you're, when you're looking at the preview of the battlefield, really take notes of those kind of things in the terrain, because it makes such a huge difference, particularly if you have a ranged focus culture like the Nubians. Having this one tile choke point like this is a major factor in your success. Use the warriors here so my archers can shoot these guys. And because I'm sieging them, that's also going to halt their production. Go ahead and actually let me rethink that. That's almost a bad decision on my part. No, that's a terrible spot. I was thinking I could get two pyramids adjacent to each other, but the outputs there are so bad. And it's right on the border with this other territory. The changes to production, I think, have really incentivized going for smaller cities that don't have a ton of attached outposts, because outposts also contribute to the industry scaling. So I've really only been going for 2 or 3 in most games. And there we go, there's my keen. Alright, founding myths. Finally get that extra influence. Let's reduce the outpost creation cost. And there we go. Yeah, if you have a neighbor like this, particularly if you have early access to units, you should really be going for a knockout blow early. It's such a massive advantage. Okay, let's get that Maker's Quarter out. And then I am going to go... aha, that is for a different religion. I'm not going to build the stone rings. I was thinking those were my stone rings, but they are for the Mycenaeans. Let's... die. Yeah, we can build that. I don't want to spend my influence on that because I'd like to start getting my outposts up over in this direction. We're going to see who my other neighbor is here. This is a bizarre spawn for 2 continents. I can't say I've seen something like this with these settings before. Should I go for more industry? I'd really prefer a little bit of food in here. At the same time, I should probably... I'm exploiting those already. I'm going to go ahead and get this 1 coffee online mostly because I get gold out of doing it, even though coffee is kind of a shit resource. What I really want is stuff like this silk and lead, because both of those are very good. And in fact, I'm going to prioritize getting the lead, I think. Just get an outpost up in this area, influence purchase the lead, because that's going to help my progression down the science tree. Okay, so Mykeene. Army composition, let's get that +1 combat strength on unit. And keep this... I could grab that, I might as well. There's a chance for it to provide some influence. It can also give some gold, so either way, it's worth picking up. Here we go. So once we finish that, we really want flood irrigation. It's important to maintain a higher population in your cities now, I think. Specifically because of cost scaling issues means that in the early game, your population is a really important supplement to your outputs. Later game, it... not so much. Okay. Oh, that's a change. Interesting. I don't think this was here before. So if I hover over horses, it tells me if I have any horses in my empire, which is nice. I'm going to go for riding because I want that extra science output and perhaps the competitive deed if I'm not too late on it. Got a merchant Aerostar, which is great. I think people really underestimate the amount of gold you can produce with the Nubians. They're really quite a potent culture, and gold buyout costs early are really not that big of a deal. Ooh, the Phoenicians? Yeah, we're going to bully these guys. Phoenicians are terrible in the early game. It'd be great if... I want this to recover on its stability issues so I can start on a Nubian pyramid, but not an option right now, unfortunately. Don't have any grievances. I mean, should I just go for the war deck right off the bat? Maybe. Okay. I'm torn on this now, actually. So, religion. You'll probably remember in the previous version of the game, this was +1 faith on main plaza and +1 faith on administrative center. And now it's +2, which has made it much more competitive with polytheism. But you also attach fewer outposts now, I feel like, because of cost scaling. So these two are pretty close to each other. I feel like given my current layout, this +6 faith on main plaza is probably more viable. I'm not going to be attaching as many cities because they're fairly close together. Like, I don't have a ton of land that expands outwards. So I'm going to go for the +6 faith on main plaza. Don't need to worry about that quite yet. I'm going to save my influence for things that are actually important. Right there seems fine. Hopefully I don't run into any independent people. I'm not going to make it over there before they grow a population, unfortunately. Now, looks like I'll be attaching Mykeene and Iklil here. Go ahead and do that right now, actually. And then I'll, once the stability has recovered, I'll get to work on the Moreau pyramids. I'm going to buy the flood irrigation because, nope, not that one, this one. I would like to start on an obelisk. And I might actually put it down in Mykeene here because it is having way more stability issues. You can kind of use obelisks as a way of transferring production from one city to another. So I'm going to go ahead and surprise war the Phoenicians. There's really no reason not to here. Phoenicians are pretty garbage in the early game, so... Alright. I could go up right now if I wanted to. I think, though, there are a lot of stars left to earn. What turn is it? 34? I mean, it would be great to get first pick. Like, there's so many good options. But we're not going to worry about it right now. Because I have a lot of stuff still going on. Alright. Might actually... Oh, I haven't researched that yet. I'm going to go for domestication next, because I'd like to get a scout rider. It's going to be a lot more effective running around here, plopping down outposts. Thankfully, the expansionist stars are super easy to get now, so... they're pretty much guaranteed every era. You need so few of them now, which I think they went a little overboard, but it is what it is. Okay, there we go. Okay. They shouldn't have organized warfare yet, so I'm just going to go right in for the kill here. Just block access to my archers. Now, my archers are going to do less damage because I don't have any high ground, for the moment at least. But I still have a pretty massive combat strength advantage, so I'm not too worried. Alright, I'm going to take that attack right there, since I have high ground on the warriors. Do as much damage to the levies as possible. Pretty solid start here. 3 cities, I think. We'll have to see how cost scaling is going to affect me, though, because it can be quite bad. Cultural blessing. So this has been changed. Multiculturalism gives +10 influence on main plaza if it's assimilated, or, and +10 influence on administrative center if it's assimilated. I never assimilate anyone, I just conquer them, so I'm just going to go for the +2 influence on main plaza administrative centers. Alright. Okay, finally, let's get up here. Nice, get a little extra gold. There's an era star, world deed. Pretty good era so far. No complaints yet. I think bronze working is probably next. Masonry would be good too. I mean, we needed most of these techs eventually. Let's go bronze working into organized warfare. And bronze working will unlock the forge as well, which is a pretty important upgrade for our maker's quarters. Oh my goodness, and the black players here too, wow. And we have gemstones. Oh, that's amazing. Look at that, let's see. Yeah, I'm getting +4 money on the Nubian pyramids from gemstones now, which is really, really good. Okay, so you can see I've taken this over, right? And this has several of these districts already. I need someone on food here. So it is now 9 turns to build the Moreau pyramids, which is a lot. Yeah, that's fine right there. So what I'm going to do is put 1 turn into each of these Moreau pyramids so I don't lose them. And then, focus on the stuff that I need. Have I won this war yet? No. I'm going to give these guys a turn or 2 to recover. And House of Scribes. I have enough money, and I'm making a reasonable amount, so I'm just going to buy the House of Scribes. There's no point wasting production on that when I can use it on other things. Okay, let's finally get this outpost down. And we'll come back and get it in this territory over here. Yep, that's as good a spot as any. This will probably turn into like a 3-territory city in this area at some point once I have the influence to actually upgrade it. I do think there is a bias towards having many smaller cities now with the way production's working, which actually, in my opinion, makes the Achaemenids even better because of that +2 city cap. Having more distributed outputs, particularly with science and money, is way more important now. So put a turn of production into each of those, and then we can grab animal barns. So working on the obelisk there, which is fine. Let's see. We can get it down to 2 turns with just 1 person, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And let's get another outpost up here. Go ahead and buy this lead. And they are attacking me, which is no problem at all. So I will lose the benefits of fortification on at least 1 attacker here. They do have high ground there, which is a bit of a concern. But I think because I have the range advantage here, it may actually be worth it to put a guy here. So my thinking is, right, if I only hold the front line with these guys, they're going to have 1 person get in, which negates my combat bonus from being fortified. But not only that, when you are in a district, it reduces the range damage that you take. So I'm thinking I might try to keep them out for a turn. They're not going to be able to kill my Tassetti with the fortification on the first turn. Might not even be able to do it in 2 turns. And then with exceptional accuracy, hopefully I can... yeah, I'm not going to attack. Just let the warriors be tanks. Okay, and that's fine. Now I can retreat this guy over here. Get a shot. Pull this guy back. Move him up, and he'll tank the next round of attacks. Or they can both go over there, which is fine because they don't have high ground there. Now we can get onto our own high grounds and go after the archers, and easy peasy victory. Alright, take a look at Aristars. Yeah, still a few that are definitely doable. Need 1 more on my builder. Need 1 more for scientists, so I think I'm going to hang around just a little longer. Actually, does Obelisk count towards Builder Stars? Yes, it does. I was never sure about that. Good to know. I'm just going to buy animal barns. No reason to just sit on gold forever. What is this? Need to retreat from that, unfortunately. And I wanted a Scout Rider. Though I may have to change my mind about that. I'm just going to go for a Warrior. Simply because these guys right here, a Scout Rider is not going to perform very well. But I can't get that down to 1 turn, so we'll leave everyone on science. How do I look? Okay, 1 more turn for 2 stars on scientists. Bring me up to 15 Aristars, which, not too bad. Phoenicians made another city. Which would be great to have, because there is another set of gemstones there, which I'd like to take. But that may not be feasible. All right, let's get a horse. Let's get our silk. Actually, the sage will be nice too. Go ahead and pick that up. What's this? Leadership. We'll eventually grab the +1 city cap. I do not need it quite yet. Okay. Food market, potentially at some point worth investing in. Not quite yet. Did I build a forge here already? No, because I do not have copper online. I really need the copper. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. Which means that here I can work on the forge after I get these warriors. So the forge gives you +5 industry for copper, as well as +1 industry on makers' quarters and an additional +1 industry for adjacent makers' quarters. And the important part about it is that it's not going to affect my district cost scaling because it's infrastructure. So more effective to build that than it is to build another maker's quarter. Oops. Yeah. I'll just take these two. That's fine for the time being. This one does have a gemstone in it, as well as coffee, which I really don't care about. It would be nice for a manufactory eventually on coffee. That'll give me a decent bonus to my food output. But for now, I'm really not worried about coffee at all. It's a non-factor for me because I'm not really planning to use any farmers, so I'm gonna leave them unbuilt for the time being. Okay. And actually, I think I would still like a scout rider. And over here, wow, those are some pretty good Nubian pyramids I can get. So we'll get a turn of production into each of those. What was taken? Ah, the Achaemenids got taken. It's kind of too bad for me. Maybe I'll go for the Axumites. Especially once I secure these territories, I'll have a decent number of territories under my religious influence. Alright, I can't work on the Merle pyramids here yet. Is it worth sticking around in this era just to build the Merle pyramids? That's the question. 2 more districts for Builder Stars. What's that, like 2 more turns for Aesthete Stars? I don't think I'll get the Builder Stars, to be honest. Unless I, like, take a new city somehow, miraculously. Builder Stars are doable if I purchase some of these extractors. I'm going to delay at least 1 turn here. I'll probably delay for the Aesthete Stars. I think the Achaemenids were really a priority. Anyone else, not as important. So 4 turns. Yeah, a warrior and a Nubian archer should be able to deal with a spearman and a regular archer, so not worried about that. And they should be able to get there in time. Let's pick up masonry for the stoneworks, because I do have mountains and some stony fields that I'm exploiting, so that'll be a nice boost to my industry. I don't know, can I can do that while that's still developing. Fascinating. That is actually very good to know. I've never tried that before, so. And that gives me my Builder Stars. 1 more turn on my Aesthete Stars. And then I think we can go up an era. Ugh, it feels so bad to not get the Merle pyramids here, though. Celts are taken. That's fine. I have no interest in the Celts. All right. So let me remind myself Right, I can't, because it would be like at least another 4 turns. Because I'm going up 5% here, and I need to get to 30, and then I need to put a turn of production into the Merle pyramids. I would get 3 science stars if I wait another 2 turns. Axamites might be viable. I'm going to go for Overlook on this, so it is -5 stability, but it modifies me towards the Order axis, or towards the Liberty axis, because that's the one I want for the additional influence on emblematic districts, which is really important for your influence output both in the early and late game. But this other thing, this extra vision range and detection range, pretty much sucks. So really no reason to take that. All right, Scout Riders, head over this way. I am worried about taking the Axamites and that it might be going a little too hard on gold. I'm concerned about cost scaling. I really don't want the Mayans because Nubian archers into noble javelineers is a downgrade, not an upgrade. Greeks are great. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll be waiting too long for those Merle pyramids, although it would be great to have. I think because, I haven't invested really at all in science at this point. Did I get a turn of production in that? I did. Whoops. That one. I'm going to buy that real fast. Buy the animal barns, why not? Have plenty of money. And then I'm between the Axamites and the Greeks. Carthaginians could also be an option here to reduce buyout costs. I do have some options for the Kothon, and I do have some reasonable ways to make money, which means that it's feasible I can get the merchant Aerostars with Carthage, even though Carthage really doesn't have any innate ways to generate gold. I can't remember if I've played Carthage or not now. I think I played Carthage on a live stream back when the game was released, but I can't say for certain. Well, I'm going to stop here and think about who I want to go up as. And we'll put in a little cut, and when I come back, I'll explain my reasoning for why I chose whatever culture I chose. All right, so I'm back, and I've been thinking about this quite a bit, actually. And I think what I've determined, based on my experience with the beta, is that it's actually really dangerous to go all in on money. If we look at the production cost of districts in this city already, I'm up to like 9 turns per district because of how many districts that the AI built there. So what'll happen is if I go all in on money, it's going to take me forever to get these great obelisks online, and it's going to be really expensive to purchase stuff because the base industry cost of the districts I'm trying to buy out is so expensive. Like, it's almost 3K already for the Merle pyramids. So I think it's a bit of a trap to go all in on that money strategy, which is kind of the same reason why I don't want to go for the Carthaginians. But I haven't invested at all in science, and if I don't, I think I'm going to fall behind a bit. And right now, the Greeks will benefit the researchers as well, which I'm also getting benefits to from lead. So I'd rather diversify into science in this instance rather than focus on gold, as much as I really want to pick the Axamites, because I do like playing them a lot. But I am going to go for the Greeks and see if I would still consider them an S tier culture or not, because I did rank them in the S tier for classical, but we'll see how it feels now that the changes have been implemented. So let's grab us the Greeks. And here we are. Turn 46, start of the classical. Not too bad. 3,000 fame, though, which actually puts me in the lead, which is insane. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. hope you've enjoyed so far, and I'll see you for the next episode in the Classical Era.